I'm being backed into a corner. I'm gonna jump off a cliff!
Coma, then drugs, Donatella.
He's a fucking weirdo. Criminal association to their weird ass dad. Ciao, Armandi de Liberi, and welcome back. Today, I'm reading the CARAVAL series trilogy. I'm gonna read through my TBR. So I'm gonna try and read these three so I can get some books off the cart so I can put new ones on. I do not know a lot about CARAVAL. I just know that it is the predecessor to the two books that I have on my shelf here, Once Upon a Broken Heart and A Ballad of Never After, and the new one is out as well. I'm so far behind. What I know is that it's like a circus and our main character and her sister go to the circus and she gets like kidnapped. Her sister gets kidnapped or something, so she participates in the circus. I think that's what it is. Tiny island where her and her sister, Tella, live with their powerful and cruel father. Now Scarlett's father has arranged a marriage for her and Scarlett thinks her dreams of seeing CARAVAL, the faraway one-sea performance where the audience participates in the show, are over. Why would you want that? Scarlett's long dreamt of invitation finally arrives with the help of a mysterious sailor. Tella whisks Scarlett away to the show, only as soon as they arrive, Tella is kidnapped. By CARAVAL's mastermind organizer, Legend. That's his name? His name is Legend? All good. It turns out that the season's CARAVAL revolves around Tella. What a fucking weirdo. And whoever finds her first is the winner. Scarlett has been told that everything that happens during CARAVAL is only an elaborate performance, but she nevertheless becomes enmeshed in the game of love, heartbreak, and magic with the other players in the game. And whether CARAVAL is real or not, she must find Tella before the 5 nights of the game are over. A dangerous domino effect of consequences is set off and her sister disappears forever. What? Hello. It is currently 11:55 p.m. I am up to chapter 17 of CARAVAL. Tab update. Here's a little recap. I hate their dad. I hate Donatella and Scarlett's father. He's a dick. I don't know how I feel about Julian. Julian is a sailor. Came into Trista. The island that they originate from is called Trista. The island of Concord or some shit? Trista of the Concord Isles, I believe. Yeah. The Concord Isle of Trista. So Julian's like a nomad sailor and he tried to sleep with Donatella, or did sleep with Donatella. Donatella and Scarlett's dad beat the shit out of Donatella. And then Donatella and Julian kidnapped Scarlett to go to CARAVAL, where then Donatella gets kidnapped to be the prize for this year's CARAVAL to receive the once-in-a-lifetime wish. Yeah. It's like a treasure hunt where legends drop it in little hints, right? Hint 1 was in Donatella's room. Donatella wasn't in the room. Ooh. Did you guys hear that? There's something on my nail. Ugh. You guys been looking at that the whole time and you didn't tell me? That's fucked. That's messed. So then a bunch of these random freaks ransacked Donatella's room as a part of the first clue, because everyone got the same clue. That's how a treasure hunt works. And Julian, I kind of low-key feel like Julian is Legend. But I also like kind of don't. Julian's lore is that he is a sailor, duh, and he has been to CARAVAL before. But the thing with CARAVAL is that it's a once-in-a-lifetime situation, and you're not really meant to go back a second time. And some of the staff are kind of recognizing him, and at the moment he's missing. He's MIA, which I'm not too upset about. Like, he's funny at times and then he makes me want to fucking punch him. I don't have a lot of tabs of things I've enjoyed here. Julian says, so there's, oh my god, how do I explain this? There's a dude called Dante. He had tall, black hair, tattoos, Sound familiar? Sounds like every man we've ever read about. He gave Scarlett his room for the night because she didn't want to sleep with Julian, but she didn't tell him that, so he gave her his room, and he's low-key a dick. He's trying to riz her up. No, I'm never saying that again. He's trying to hit her up, but then he meets Julian, and he's kind of like, right. But then Julian says, "You think he practices that look in the mirror?" when Dante's trying to like be like, "Ooh, Dante, I want to fuck you" or something. Like, that made me giggle. That was a very funny line. Where did he piss me off? They're at a, what is this called? So they're searching for the second clue, and there's a kissing tent. I don't know why, but so Scarlett's looking at the kissing tent, and he goes, "Does that strike your fancy?" And then he smiles wider, because he's a fucking weirdo. And he's like, "No need to be embarrassed. Although, if you need some practice before your wedding..." By the way, Scarlett's engaged to a lord? A count. So Scarlett's engaged to a count that she's meant to be getting married to after the entirety of CARAVAL finishes. "I can give you some free kissing practice, babe. Don't even worry about it. I'll do it for you, only for the special price of nothing." Please, just shut the fuck up. She goes and gets her future read. And the guy's like, "Here's how this works. I ask you 2 questions. You ask me 2 questions." But she's stupid. She's fucking dumb. So he asks, like, "Tell me about your companion, the handsome young sailor man you traveled with." And the thing is, she can't lie because of the smoke in the tent is like a truth smoke. So she like blurts out that he's the most attractive man she's ever seen. He is described like every man ever. The way he speaks makes me think he's like every man ever. And then, you know, she backtracks because it's also the truth that she doesn't like him. The whole book, he's like, "I can fuck whatever woman I want. I can give you a kiss. I'll pretend to be your fiance. I almost fucked your sister." Like, get a grip. Do not like him. And so Julian's missing now. Julian, who has been here before, he goes, "Don't tell anyone your secrets. Like, keep your guard up." She has told everyone everything. Like, babe, you are on a magical island where their form of payment is getting your information. Does this not sound like a scam to you? It doesn't make sense. You hear that? That's the sound of my pea brain rattling around in my fucking head. Skull. If someone tells you that the place that you are in will use the things about you to your disadvantage, like, I understand if my sister went missing, I also would do everything in my power to find her. But if someone told me to keep my guard up and not tell everyone what I'm looking for, I wouldn't go around telling everyone I'm looking for my sister. "Oh yeah, I'm in CARAVAL for the game." No, dumb fucks, I'm looking for my sister. You don't need to know that though. I think I might be just the best predictor ever because I'm on page 217. Context is that Scarlett gave away 2 days of her life to buy a dress. Anyway, so, you know, Dante is like talking to her. Dante's sister is missing. Julian takes Scarlett to the room because she's on the verge of death because she's given away 2 days of her life. So she dies for 2 days and then she gets revived like Christ. But Julian gives her 1 day of his life, so they're just going to be dead together for a day, I guess. So in this dream realm, she sees her sister and she's looking through all this shit. And she makes her way to like Dreamscape funeral procession where we find out that Dante won the game and then found out that his fiancée was sleeping with Legend, and then his fiancée killed herself. She's, you know, looking around in the funeral procession and she sees Legend, and she hasn't seen his face in any of her dreams before, but she's seeing it now, and it's fucking Julian. Like, did I not say that I thought Julian was Legend because he's a fucking weirdo? Like, I might as well just do the fucking Tetsuoto. Hi. Me again. It's been like 20 pages. Dante is dead.
Huh?
And Julian's sister is Dante's dead fiance? Maybe I don't buy the lotto. Maybe. Also, this is a tab update. Scarlett's grandmother is the girl that Legend was in love with. I don't think I mentioned that before. That's a key part of the story. It's all happening. It's all happening now. You know what I need? I need a coffee for this because I'm gonna lose my mind otherwise. I have been played for a fool. At chapter 34 now. I'm almost done. Met Legend. Julian's dead. Legend stabbed him. I had just started to like this motherfucker. I had just started. I'm like, you know what? He's actually quite alright. And then he dies. Scarlett's fiance is there. Scarlett's dad is there. He gets assaulted by Scarlett's dad. It turns out that he's been on Legend's side the entire time, but his feelings for Scarlett are real. And then Legend kills him. I don't know if I talked about Julian's sister. He said that his sister was Dante's fiance who committed suicide. Wrong. Incorrect. Rosa did exist and Rosa did die. But she was not related to Dante or Julian. Legend had them both be little puppets so he could fuck around with Scarlett's brain. He's like, I thought you'd like Dante more. It's good to see that I'm wrong sometimes. Psychotic. Actually fucking lunatic behaviour. I get that her grandmother was your one true love and fuck around and find out, right? She left. It does not mean that you can just be a dick to her entire bloodline. I feel like a right dickhead. I finished CARAVAL. This is the final tab update for CARAVAL. I know like an hour ago I said, oh, Julian's dead. Dante is dead. Donatella also died. After I recorded that. But turns out the players or the actors in the game don't die. Like, they experience all the pain. Like, if they are to die during the game, they experience it all. It's real. But then they just get revived. They just come back to life. Donatella came back to life through her sister's magic. Because her sister cared so much about her that she got revived. Because Donatella had been corresponding with Legend and their dad. None of this shit about their grandmother being the ex-lover of Legend is real. He did not resent her at all. They finished the book at a party. Julian and Scarlett get together. Legend puts a coin in Donatella's pocket and is like, oh yeah, by the way, you need to hold up your end of the bargain and you'll see your mum soon. I don't know if I mentioned that their mum is gone. Like, her mum's been missing since the start of the books. For like 10 years or something, their mum has just been gone. Apparently he knows their mum. I was like just thrown around. I was in a rucksack and I was just being... That's how many plot twists there were in the last 100 pages. I've given it a 3-star on Goodreads at the moment, but that can change. But right now, that just means that I start the next one and put myself through this all again. I'm on chapter 7 of Legendary. There's been a little bit of tab update. I was reading the audiobook while I was reading this, and I realized that I don't like doing that. I read way too fast for the audiobook, so I've finished the page by the time that the audiobook is about halfway, and I just don't like being slowed down to that pace. But the only reason I even tried it was because it's free on Spotify if you have premium. But what I have gathered from 6 chapters, Donatella stole a deck of cards. She has the card the Oracle, which is basically just an oracle. It's a mirror card, so when you look in it, it gives you a reflection of the future. And she changed the card. One of the readings in the card was Scarlet in a white wedding dress, and she was crying and there was blood all over her, and the future altered because Donatella brought them to CARAVAL. So Donatella has this card that she stole from her mum, and currently reflection on the card of their mother. So their mum didn't die. I don't know if I thought that she did. I don't think I did. So their mum ran away, disappeared, whatever. And Donatella's trying to find her mother, and Legend... Okay. Donatella made a deal with a criminal for a criminal network, and I'm pretty sure that criminal is Legend. And Donatella is not connecting dots. Donatella has to find out Legend's real name for this bargain to be done. So, like, Donatella got all the information about how to contact Legend and how to kind of persuade him to let her go to CARAVAL through this mysterious criminal. And now the criminal, as payment, wants to know Legend's name. Now that's not something a regular person would do. It's very Legend-esque. A regular person would probably just ask for money, but also the person is in CARAVAL because they gave Donatella a note and a coin, and the coin has an engraving of one of the other decks of cards, one of the other cards in the deck that Donatella found, which when you flip over it basically just tells you that you have an unrequited love, like you never have a proper relationship, because these are magic cards that if you flip over, the actual, it'll come to fruition. Scarlet's fiance wasn't actually her fiance, it was an actor on the CARAVAL island, and Julian is basically blackmailing Tella. Well, not blackmailing, but he's like, if you tell her, I'm coming for you. Because Scarlet doesn't know that it was an actor, and she thinks that they are safe. Whereas Scarlet's fiance actually doesn't know she's dead, I don't think. And she's gonna probably try to find her fiance if she knows he's alive, because they're traveling to the island where he lives. But I don't know why she would try to find him when she's in love with Julian. I don't fucking know. Oh, right. So there's the Fates, which are like the gods. And apparently a powerful witch banished the Fates. And the same witch gave Legend his power, so no one can know his fucking name. Now Tella is going to participate in the new CARAVAL, which takes place a week after the last book. And if she wins, she gets to confront Legend and ask him his name. Why the fuck would he tell you? If he's not allowed to tell anyone, why the fuck would he tell you? Anyway, they're on a boat traveling to Valenda. They're now at Valenda. Like, this is literally where I am. We have had a change of scenery. This is a current tab update of Legendary. What has happened? Dante organized a dress fitting for Donatella. Oh my god, that's not even where it begins. Donatella can't get in to the castle at Valenda because she's not on the guest list anymore. So Dante, who is like in his stalking era, was like, oh, don't you know, she's engaged to the heir of Valenda, which happens to be a guy named Jax. So because Dante says this, Donatella gets a room in a different tower, and then she goes to a ball. She meets her fiance, who is Jack. I know that Jax is in Once Upon a Broken Heart and The Ballad of Never After, but apparently Jax is one of the Fates, and he is the Prince of Hearts. So Donatella kissed him to show everyone at the opening of the CARAVAL ball that she is madly in love with him and he's madly in love with her. But this kiss literally is a ticking time bomb against her, supposedly. Donatella keeps reiterating like she doesn't know if this is real, but her heart is actively beating slower. Dante gets jealous of Jax. Dante books a fitting for Donatella. They almost kiss. He runs away. CARAVAL starts. Day 1, nothing really happened. Day 2, Dante shows up again and helps Tella find the Temple of Legend in the religion district of Valenda. In the temple is a tavern, and in the tavern is Armando, who he's not pretending like he doesn't know Donatella, which is what he's meant to do, because Donatella ran into Julian, and Julian like was really acting like he did not know. Armando makes Donatella flip the cards of fate again, and she gets 2. She has to flip 4 cards, and she gets 2 of the one she already flips. She gets the Prince of Hearts and the Maiden Death, the Shattered Crown. The only description is that we get of one of the 4 cards is the Lady Prisoner, which supposedly holds a double meaning, one meaning promised love and the other meaning a sacrifice. And it all relates back to the Oracle card that she pulled when she was like 7. We are currently on night 3 of CARAVAL now. But at the end of night 2, Donatella finds a secret passageway into Scarlet's room. Julian is trying to win Scarlet back because Scarlet found out that her fiance was on Valenda and was not real in the last game, and he was just an actor. Julian, I don't know, like he really shit me in CARAVAL, and he really shits me now. Dante, on the other hand, is kind of clean, and I have a sneaking suspicion that Dante is Legend, because Julian and Dante have matching tattoos in different colours. If Julian is telling the truth about being Legend's brother, it would make sense for them to have matching tattoos, I guess. No one else is mentioned to have a heart tattoo besides Julian and Dante. That's just my logic. Hello. I gymmed last night at like 12 in the morning, and I did arms, and I'm a cardio only girly. My arms fucking kill, which is a side note, but I'm very tired. I'm extraordinarily tired. So I've just had a chill reading day. I'm at chapter 26, page 281. This is a tab update. Where did we leave off? I know that I was in bed. Where did I end off? I talked about the church. We're on day 3 of CARAVAL. Donatella is doing the second clue, and she's at the Criminal Association murder house. It's the building where she sent the letters initially to Jax, who is not Legend, who was giving her information about Legend for the initial CARAVAL to occur. She's gone there and she's seen all of these wanted posters of all these criminals, and on the wall, a shiny pristine border, is Paloma. Because I haven't said that name before, Paloma is her mum, who is originally from Valenda apparently, and she's a wanted criminal, and her name is Paradise. Her title is Paradise the Lost, and supposedly she lived in Valenda, and people were hiring her to steal from them because they were so in love with her. And she wouldn't back down from a challenge and got challenged to steal this deck of cards. Sound familiar? Turns out that the deck of cards are cursed, so she fled to an undisclosed location, which is Trista, and started a family. And then when Donatella found the cards, Paloma left again because she's now put her kid in danger. And now she's stuck in a fucking card. Donatella rips Paloma's wanted poster off the wall, and the third clue is behind it. These clues that Legend's given the CARAVAL's meant to be a game for everyone to participate in. The first book and in this book, all of the clues are directed to Scarlet and to Donatella. He doesn't want anyone else to fucking win. What's the point in hosting the game if you're just rigging it? Anyway, she goes back to the lodgings, and Scarlett isn't opening her door, and she hasn't been opening her door for ages. One of the servants tells Donatella she's at Jax's castle. So she goes to the castle and no one's opening the door, and then she gets basically mugged by 3 hooded figures, and Donatella's like, bit early to be dressing up, isn't it? And then they're like, we're not dressed up, you stupid fuck. She's like, here. And she tosses money at them. And she's like, buy some new fucking perfume or something. Like, you reek. And they're like, we don't want your money. We want the cards that your mum stole. Turns out that 3 people were the Mistress of Death? What the fuck is her name? Were the undead queen and her 2 little henchmen. And they break Donatella's wrist. She jumps into a river. Donatella and Scarlett are pretty good siblings. But they just make the worst fucking decisions of all time. It hurts my head. It really does. Oh my god, I'm being backed into a corner. I'm gonna jump off a cliff! Misses all of the rocks, by the way, because what the fuck are we gonna do if she dies? And then she gouges the eye out of the undead queen, and they all disperse into fucking mist. And then Dante comes running around. He's like, who did this to you? I underlined it because I like Dante a lot more than I like fucking Julian. I'll just... Shocking? Alright. So he comes and he like scoops her up because she's in the river still, by the way. Also, prior to this, Donatella's ears started fucking leaking blood. It's a whole thing. It's because she's dying. She just randomly starts bleeding out of orifices occasionally. But he like picks her up, cradles her, and he's like, can you open your eyes for me? And she goes, maybe I want to sleep here. He's like, and she's like, I'd wager it's safer than in your arms. And he's like, what's so dangerous about my arms? And she goes, for me, everything. And then he does the, who did this to you? Iconic. And then he's like, don't think about giving up on me. And then she's like, I shouldn't have kissed Jax. I just did it to make you jealous. And he's like, it worked. And then he's like, I never wanted to be someone else until that moment I saw you kiss him on the dance floor. And she was like, you should have asked me to dance first. And he goes, I will next time. If Julian was like this, instead of his weird shit, I'd like him a lot more. But Dante's definitely legend. Is there anything else I missed? Alright, Donatella's literally dying. She's literally on the brink of death. And Dante's trying to get her a healer. So I'm just gonna suspect that he gives part of his life to her. It's update time. Also, new shirt. I realized that I wore the same jumper twice because I filmed these over the course of like a month. And I wore the same jumper twice, so it looks like I filmed it in one day and just put my hair up like a grub. I did not do that.
This is editing stuff. I realized that I left out a big fucking chunk of lore. So Donatella had almost died. Dante had actually given her some of his blood to save her, and they're in the catacombs under Valenda, and what the fuck is his name? Julian's there as well, and that's where it's revealed that Julian and Dante are brothers, lol. Then Tella has this whole mental breakdown about it, if Dante is legend and legend is Dante, or legend is Julian and Julian is legend. Reading Legendary felt like a fever dream, so I completely missed out on that part in my little recap.
I finished Legendary literally just now. I almost forgot the tab update. How silly of me. Here's the final tab update for Legendary. I enjoyed this book a lot more than I enjoyed Caraval. But it wasn't by much. It was not by much. Where am I up to in the lore recapping? We go to the Temple of Stars. We find out Paloma sold Donatella to the Temple of Stars to use a vault to store the Deck of Destiny in. Dante gave himself to the temple to give Donatella one free opening of vault because the key to the vault is Donatella's opal ring, which she inherited from Paloma, but the ring is cursed. Because of course it is. So they wouldn't let her open it. Dante gave some of his life or something. And so she opened it, she took the deck, and once she got to the steps, Dante's there. She's like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. The first person I see after I win the game, winning the game is getting the deck of destiny, is Dante. That means Dante is legend. I think my lotto card is now back on the table. That was the most predictable shit I've ever seen in my life. She's like, I can't pick between Jax and Dante and who to give these cards to. If I give them to Jax, Dante dies. If I give them to Dante / legend, my mum dies. So she puts herself in the card. Legend has his little emo moment and he breaks the curse on all the cards. He doesn't take the power of the cards, he just breaks the curse and all of the cards are now just in the open. He kisses Donatello goodbye and fucking dips. Also, the Empress is dying. Donatello went and had a little meeting with her and she fucking was on the brink of death. Dante gave a sob story about his mum taking him to the circus and abandoning him there. And then the Empress dies after Donatello is released from the card, and the new heir, the lost heir, takes his place on the throne. Do we want to guess who the lost heir is? Let me put up a hangman. Starts with D, ends in ante. Or a better one is legend. Anyway, Donatella's fuming, and while Donatella is literally battling her life the entire time, Scarlet's out looking for her ex-fiance who lives on the island. She's given Julian another chance, but she's given the Count another chance as well, so she can compare. Anyway. But if I have to read about one more Dragna stupid fucking decision-making plot, I'm like, that's it for me. If I had to rate this book, I'd give it a 3.75. It's not quite a 4, but it's a lot better than the original Caraval. I'll give it that. Anyway, time to get this book off my shelf. Woo! I forgot my camera downstairs. Anyway, this is a tab update for finale, and what's happened? Let's recap. It's dual POV, and Legend was visiting Donatella in her dreams, and then he comes to her in like a panic. It's like, wake up. And like the magic had seeped into the real world, and she gets anxious about him. She hunts him down, finds out that he's visiting the witch that gave him the powers that locked away the fates, and he drains her of her magic, like basically all of it. Paloma has awoken from her coma. Scarlet met up with Nicholas, Archduke Lord Nicholas, and Julian went with her. Julian basically confesses his love for her, and she's like, so she makes a game out of them, try to see which one's better suited for her hand. And she's like to him, I did it to make you jealous. Like, I think this is a terrible idea. They free a family who are frozen like statues on the side of the road, and they realize that the fates have been released and have awoken. Paloma runs away from Donatella, and Donatella follows her. Paloma then drugs Donatella and hides her behind a circus wheel, the one that you throw knives at. And then she meets up with her fate, and she tries to stab him, and he's a fate, so he can't die. So he pulls out the knife, and Donatella is paralyzed and is watching this through the hole in the wheel because the wheel is spinning, and he kills Paloma just in plain cold blood. And then he dies, and Jax is there to save Donatella from her paralyzation coma thing. What page am I on? I'm on page 93. All of that has happened in less than 100 pages. Yeah. It is update time. Hello, it is update time. Once again, I'm on page 212, tab update. I last left off with Paloma dying. So much has happened. Jax collects Donatella from the cave, picks her up, takes her to his gambling den house thing. They make out and trade each other's blood. They do like blood bonding, so they both cut their hands and they do like that. So he could take away her grief and pain for the day. She sleeps there after their make-out sesh and then bolts. Donatella and Scarlett's house gets ransacked and then Donatella gets arrested. And then Legend meets her in the dungeons. He didn't actually mean to have her arrested. Just wanted her found because the fates are out and he doesn't want to lose Donatella. Scarlett's been at the palace. Scarlett also now knows that Dante is Legend, which she didn't know in the last book. And from reading this book, there's no explicit scene where Julian's like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm Legend's brother. So I don't know why she handled that so well. Oh my god. Donna and Legend kind of make up, but not really. And Scarlett wants to tell Nicholas in person that she doesn't want to do this little game thing that she has made between him and Julian because she's picking Julian. She goes to the docks of Valenda and literally gets kidnapped. And at first I'm like, oh for fuck's sake, it's their weird ass dad. Scarlett is the daughter of the fallen star, aka the fate that killed Paloma. And Scarlett's like, this can't be true. Oh wait, I literally just look like my mom. And I can see colours. You're right, I am your kid. So she's in the mezzanine, which is like a fated place. And the prisoner, the caged woman or whatever, the fate, she's in the house. Her dad is keeping her in the cage in the house. Besides that, it's just been a lot of Donatella and Legend fighting. And Donatella being like, I'm Jax's soulmate, but I love Legend. What do I do? Chat, who do I pick? It's really... Like, I just don't know how much more. If any of you mention my eyeliner, we're gonna have issues. I am so tired. I've just been really busy all week and I've got work tomorrow. But what did I say last? Scarlett's at a menagerie with the lady prisoner and the fallen star. She has this key that she can put into a hole and twist it and it will take her to wherever she wants to go if she's thinking about it. So she thinks about Julian, she turns the key into it, the door, takes her to Julian. They're at Nicholas's house. Nicholas is murdered by the fallen star. They save some of Nicholas's servants as they are just kind of strung up on strings like a puppet, like a marionette. And Scarlett decides that she has to go back and turn the fallen star human with love for his daughter, because she's his daughter, and then kill him. And Julian doesn't like that idea. Also, they like make up. They have a full like makeup session. Like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. It's okay, I didn't mean it either. And Teller's like, my love interest is dead at the moment. So after Scarlett leaves, Julian and Donatella are walking to the temple district of Valenda, and Teller pricks her finger on the warp, and she goes into one of the fated places, which is like the market, and she's trying to make this deal with the twins that Jax told her to visit to find out a secret about the fallen star. And they're like, we don't want a secret from you, Donatella. We want a secret from your daughter. And she's like, I don't have a daughter. They're like, but you will. And from behind her, this voice, and he's like, this male voice comes from behind her, and it says, I'd like to know who the father of that daughter is. It's Legend. He is alive again. And Tella lets all her emotions show on her face that she's so happy that he's back. And that's the update. That's where we're at. I finished. Let me get it off the shelf. So, when we left off, Scarlet went back to the menagerie. Since then, Scarlet and Donatella were sending each other letters because Mistress Death and the assassin came to meet up with Legend and Donatella and some of the CARAVAL performers to be like, hey, we want the fallen star dead, like you. We're here to help. And they all collectively went, no, except for like 3 of them. But ultimately Legend had the final say. So Donatella is sneaking Scarlet letters through Joven, one of the performers. Scarlet makes a plan with the lady prisoner who's at the menagerie to get the fallen star close enough to get some of his blood so they can open the book that will give a secret to how to kill the fallen star. They do that, they slice his throat, he bleeds out, he dies. Scarlet mops it up and she's trying to put it into a vial, like she's wringing out the fucking thing. And the fallen star just comes back and chokes her out. And then when she awakens, she has a cage of scarlet diamantes covering her head. Donatella ended up making that deal to get the secret at the market. I forgot to mention this. Inside all of the paper, the note that that was meant to be the one key to defeating the fallen star was just the fallen star had loved once, Paradise the Lost. Which we already knew. Anyway, so Scarlet doesn't write to Donatella or Julian while she's embarrassed that she literally got her head imprisoned and she's got like bruises around her neck, which freaks Julian out a little bit. He goes to go get her. During this moment, Legend and Donatella almost have sex. And then don't, because she said, I love you, and she said it with like her entire chest. The way that you're looking at me is making me feel things, and I cannot feel things, right? Because that's been his whole motto for the book. I cannot love you, Donatella, because if I love you, I lose my immortality. That's his whole thing for the book. The fallen star tries to make Scarlet make Julian hate her and not love her, and she's like, I can't. And he's like, I'll just kill him. And she's like, no, you will not kill him, because if you kill him, I won't do anything for you. So here's the new deal. You let him go, and I'll do whatever you want. If she knew, right, that she had that much power over him, she could have done that from the start. He says he lets Julian go, and then it actually ends up that Julian's like hanging from the wall, chained up, and she gets him down, and they try to break out. And Gabrielle's like, oh, so you think you can just run away? So he tries to fucking fight them, and then Legend is there doing this illusion to distract Gabrielle while Scarlet puts her magical key in the door and takes him to the townhouse that Legend is currently residing in because everyone thinks he's dead. It's all a bunch of shit, and then the main conflict happens in the last 50 pages. Scarlet confronts the fallen star again, except Donatella's just there this time, and she has a fucking knife. Scarlet's like, I know that you loved once. My mother. Our mother. And she like gestures to Donatella, and she's just kind of there like, he's like, I did love her. I loved her so much. And he starts reminiscing and fucking crying. And the tears are gold at first. And then they turn clear because he has turned human. Because he's that in love with their mother. That, by the way, he literally murdered 300 pages ago. And then, in that moment where he's crying clear tears, Donatella fucking stabs him in the heart. And Scarlet cries. Scarlet becomes the Empress. we skip to the coronation of Scarlet Dragna. Her and Julian are having a little flirty moment where they make up. And Julian proposes to her. And then Tella sends Legend a note. Be like, take me away on another adventure. Can you cause a scene because Scarlet asked me not to? And he receives the letter and it's his POV and he's just laughing. That is the end of the book. Don't get me wrong, I can understand why people really enjoy this series, right? But there was just so much going on. I felt like I was in a jar being rattled. That's how it felt reading not only this book, but the entire thing. I spent a month reading this. So overall, I think I lost a little bit of my sanity. I think I went a little bit crazy. Oh my god! Jax, when he took away Donatella's pain and he made her recite some magical fucking words, it was a marriage contract. He married her. And so she went to him and basically yelled the fuck out of him. And he's like, all right, all you have to do to break this bond is inflict harm on me. So, and she's like hesitant with the knife at his chest. And he goes, just do it, just do it, just do it, before I change my mind. And then they do it together. And then she's like, I'm sorry, let me help you. He goes, get the fuck out, like, leave me alone. And he had this whole little speech and he was like, I wanted you to want me, not him. I wanted you to be jealous of me, not him. I will never be him to you. I need you, I want you, but you don't want me the same way I want you. He had this whole little fucking moment. The whole time, Legend is fighting with Julian. Legend is fighting with Donatella. Legend is fighting with Jax. Legend is fighting with Esmeralda, the witch that gave him his powers. Legend is fighting with his fucking staff. Who isn't Legend fighting? I get why people like the book. Trust me, I do. Personally, not my cup of tea. I feel like I'm crazy. I actually feel like I've lost my mind when I have to think about these books. Time travel, there's time travel. Scarlet goes back in time to tell Paloma, or Paradise the Lost, about Gabriel and that he's not safe to be around. And she's gonna have a daughter named Scarlet, and that's her. And she's gonna have another kid later down the line. And Paloma's like, oh. Overall, I think I would give this like an average 3-star. I feel like that is generous, right? Like there were points where I was giggling. There were points where I was actively laughing. There were parts that I really did like. But like 65% of it, I was just sitting there like this. Those were my exact facial expressions. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I didn't know what to do when I was reading it. I don't know what to do when speaking about it. It was so bizarre. It was just so weird. Fucking... Like, it's not the worst thing I've ever read, but it's definitely not the best. I was thinking about my favourite book of all time while reading this trilogy because I was just like, I just cannot think about what I'm reading right now. It is not retaining any information in my brain. Like nothing is, it's going in and then out. But yeah. Anyway, Thank you for coming on this journey with me. Not only did I feel crazy reading it, I feel crazy talking to a camera about it. So, there's that. I felt like the last month of reading last month of reading the CARAVAL trilogy has done irreparable damage to me. Like, if you want to get immersed into magic, there are a few books that are better than this. I think ultimately the second one is the best one, and then it would be CARAVAL and then Finale. I think Finale just tried to tie up loose ends from the first two, but then added in more that it really shouldn't have added. Don't get me wrong, I was on the bandwagon for Donatella and Legend to get together, but it should have happened either a lot sooner or not at all. Because it kind of just felt like, oh shit, I need to get them together because that's what everyone wants. Instead of, I've planned this out from the start, this is how it will go, and it will be a smooth transition from no to yes. I just kind of felt like I was on a roller coaster, and then you see the top of the arch, but you go off the side. If you enjoy CARAVAL, please, please, please don't take any offense to anything that I have said. I respect the fact that you like the book or the trilogy. Trust me, I do. I like books that fucking people do not like. So I completely understand. But I felt like I had a fever dream. Now it is the end of the video, which means that I shall say arrivederci.